I'm Ric Drasin, also known as the Equalizer, professional wrestler, AWF champ, 38 years of pro wrestling.
Is this your house, Rick?
This is my house. This is where I do all my stuff, all my talents, all my hobbies. I have my ring in the backyard. I have my computer in the front room where I do all my graphics. I have my tattoo parlor out here where I do tattooing. I have a studio in the front bedroom where I do guitar, music, and kind of like encompasses all that I do. This kind of came about in a strange way. I had wrestled for, like I said, for 38 years. And on the road wrestling, I always kept my talents. I liked playing guitar. I was in a band. I had a deal with Capitol Records. And I had done the Gold's Gym logo back in the early 70s, the little guy on the t-shirt. So I always kept my hand in graphics and doing things, which allowed me to meet people from various walks of life. And because of that, I formed a federation called American Wrestling Federation. And I took these people that would come to me and they wanted to train, they wanted to be wrestlers, and I would use them on shows as like fundraisers. I'd go to high schools, junior highs, whatever, and I'd put on a 2-hour show, and I'd bring in my students along with some pros, and we'd run a 2-hour show of pro wrestling. Well, it caught on, and it caught on big. And pretty soon my website started getting a lot of hits, and I started getting a lot of calls from people wanting to train. You have people that are dedicated, and you have those that are flakes. You're going to show up and they don't show up, or they try it once and they're afraid, they don't like it, or they try it once and they're hooked. Well, right now I've got a real good group of people, and 99% of them will never make the big time of wrestling. Even though they watch WWE constantly, they don't have the look, they don't have the talent, they don't have the charisma, they don't have the ability to do what those guys do at a high level. And if they were to contact WWE and say, look, I want to train for wrestling, Vince McMahon would look at them and say, no, I don't want you. I want someone from Venice Golds who's a 300-pound bodybuilder, because that's what it's become. But I like working with these people. I like the results that they've had because they've come to me overweight. I have one who's dyslexic, ADD. I have one who's autistic. I have one who has high blood pressure, high cholesterol. He needs to lose about 50 pounds. I have women that do the same. When they step in here and train with me, I teach them the basics of wrestling. I teach them how to get an aerobic workout out of it. I restructure their diet to basically a bodybuilding diet of high protein, low carb. And I've had amazing results with all of them. They've lost body fat. One guy lost 75 pounds. Another one lost 50. They've gained muscle. But more important, they've gained self-esteem and self-worth. They actually feel they're doing something for themselves that's really out of the norm. And how many times can you stop somebody and say, gee, what's your hobby? And say, I'm training to be a pro wrestler. Oh my God, no one does that. No one in the right mind anyway. I just turned 62 and I'm still involved in it. I mean, I have numerous injuries where I tore both quads off my legs and torn everything in my body, but I still like to go out there and get involved in it and transfer what I've learned onto somebody else so they can become better at what they do. So for me, it's very gratifying to see people take something that I spent years doing and learn from it and even improve their home life, their sex life, their relationship with their family, their parents, their husbands and wives, because they become better people. And they've restructured their diet so they feel better. They lose weight, they have more energy, they walk taller, and they sit higher in the saddle, they get along with people better, and they just become better people. So because of all that, I just wanted to take this thing and escalate it more and draw more people in and see if I can just keep turning them out and working with them. I'm having a lot of fun doing it. And it's very gratifying, as I said, to see somebody come in here and in a few months become a different person in their life. So I'm hooked on it. I'll probably do this till I'm 102. They're actually real holds. Everything we learn out here can be used on the street for self-defense if you had to. So I think that it's good knowledge to have, because in the world today with crime and violence, and you got to know how to defend yourself. In fact, I'm teaching my 15-year-old daughter and her friends self-defense for teenagers because of date rapes and things like that. I want my daughter to know if some guy grabs her, she'll take him down in a hold and put it to him, maybe put him out. So those things are important.
I'm Randi Drasin, Rick's wife. It's my home, and this is our ring in the backyard. I'm a gymnast. I've been a gymnast my whole life, and I teach gymnastics to kids, and I have my own summer camp and after-school program, and Rick's always wanting to get me in the ring, and I do a few things every now and then, but it's definitely not my thing. But I do, I appease him every now and then. But I get a kick out of the stuff in the backyard. I mean, I'd love to have a swimming pool back there, but maybe someday. And he enjoys it, and I don't, and I know that if that's gone, that's a huge portion of him that's gone. And as much as I'd like my pool, he needs to have, something that he can hold on to. When I went to college, my main goal was to be a TV producer. And that's what I studied, is radio, TV, film, and worked for Lorimar and worked at ABC TV. And then I hooked up with Rick, and I couldn't stand seeing his lifestyle the way it was. It was very like, I go to the gym, I have coffee, I have lunch, I, do my t-shirt business out of the house. I was like, God, I'm going to a job from like 9 to 5. This sucks, and I would be driving down to Hollywood in the heat, and I thought there's got to be more to life than this, and kind of just made a lifestyle change and started doing personal fitness training, and that led into the kids thing because I just didn't like the personal fitness training aspect of trying to be a psychologist. So I've gone through many changes in my life, so I kind of accidentally got into the gymnastics. I started working for Valley College, teaching gymnastics and working for their camp, and that was like 10, 11 years ago. And then just kind of snowballed into this big thing. I swear to God, wrestling is on every single night of the week. There's not a night that goes by that there's not something on, and he knows every single channel and every single show, and whatever we're watching at commercials, he's switching it to wrestling. So, I mean, I know the characters, and I know what they're doing, and I see what they're doing, and I see the moves, and, I'm interested in some of it because a lot of it's gymnastics. So I'm like, oh, how'd they learn that? I'm wondering where they're getting their training kind of thing. So, but I couldn't sit there and watch 2 hours of wrestling. Like I said, I'll do it if Rick needs me to do it. And I did, a couple months ago, I wanted to change my workout routine. And I said, let's just go in the ring and do some cardio that way. And I thought maybe it would just change it up a bit because I was getting bored doing treadmill at the gym. So I did about a month's worth of forward rolls, back rolls, the ring running, the rope running, and that kind of stuff. But I'm not just into that physical contact thing. I don't know, sweat and all that. We have one daughter between us, and then Rick has 2 older sons. Shane wrestles, or he used to wrestle. Adam used to referee. Sammy's never gotten in the ring really to do anything. I mean, I know Rick's wanting to do this self-defense thing for young teenage girls, and she'll be interested in doing that. But she's more into photography and film editing. That's what she's studying in high school right now. So we're all kind of creative in our own ways, and she's not really physically active that much. She was a gymnast for years, and then she was a dancer, and now her knees bother her, so she really doesn't do a whole lot. I'd like to see Rick move forward and have some sort of show that really showcases him. Not the ring, no. I'd really rather him not. I mean, we've had way too many injuries that we've had to contend with, which really changed our life, with his leg, incident. That really was a really hard time on us, and I just really don't want him to get in and do that because I think his muscles are really just weak and torn down. I think the training thing is really good, and it makes him feel really good and like has a purpose in life by doing it, and he's wrote some movie scripts that I'd love to see based on wrestling, that I'd just like to see him go forward with. And then at that point, I love what I do, but I know there's a point that I'm not going to be able to do it anymore, or I'm just get burnt out on it or something. I mean, it's been 10 years. If we do get back in the film business, then I would definitely work by his side and be together with him.
And how long?
19 years.
Wow. And so you met him when he was in wrestling?
Yes.
In the ring.
And I was a 22-year-old college girl at the time. And he was 42, so we have 20 years age difference. I was still living at home with my parents. I was working out at Gold's Gym in Northridge, and I was going to Cal State Northridge, and I had started working out at the gym, and somebody introduced us, and that was that. 6 months later, I moved in. 2 years later, we got married, and we've been here. Here, yeah.